English 4321 grant writing peeps. I got to tell you, this may sound odd, but last week I was looking over the work that we're doing and the work that we had left to do, and I started to get worried, not because of anything that you all have done, because I think you've done good work, but because we're so close to the deadline. I mean, next Friday begins spring break, and that's when our grant has to be done. But then I looked at everything you've done, and I thought, hey, they're in good shape. They've written drafts of every part of the grant, except for the introduction and conclusion, which will be very short. And it's nearly done. And so there's not going to be a big panic. There's not going to be a big push to get this grant thrown together at the last minute, because they've been doing their work steadily and the grant's in good shape. So, well done. Bravo, 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 bravo to each of you. And I mean that sincerely. Everybody who's been pulling their weight on the grant. That was very 90s, wasn't it? I apologize for that. But, you know, what can I say? I've seen a few decades. But the business of this week is really twofold. But it's mainly to complete the cover letter and the organizational background. Both of these are really important components of the grant. I'm going to talk about the organizational background first. The organizational background is the description of who your organization is and what it's done. And it proves, it describes the organization, lets you know the programs and what they've done, that they're eligible to do the grant, and most important, that they're able to do the grant. They're able to deliver the services or the program that the grant promises. And that's what's called capacity. It's the most important thing. Let me talk a little bit about, for example, the food bank. You say the food bank, what does it do? It passes out food. Well, it's a little bit more complex than that. They work in a large area, 11 counties. They provide food to different pantries, just traditional food bank programs, which are very important, but they also identify unmet needs. There are a lot of counties in the food bank service area that don't even have a grocery store. Low income, no grocery store. So poor people tend to be very place-bound. Not only do they not have a lot of money, they don't even have the capacity in some places to get to food. So the food bank delivers food out there. That's a little bit more than just opening your doors and passing out food. And the food bank identifies these needs and are aware of them. There are food deserts even within Corpus Christi. If you live in Corpus and you know the city at all, between Navigation Boulevard, all the way throughout most of the north side and a good part of the downtown area, moving into part of what's traditionally called the south side, all the way over to Alameda, HEB, there's no grocery stores. Think about that. That's called a food desert again. And so a lot of low-income people in that area, a lot of lack of capacity to perhaps purchase one's own food or get access to one's own food. So the food bank serves over there as well. Also specific populations, school-age children, as our backpack program, people who are dependent upon school feeding programs to get their regular food. What happens after school closes? Well, they think about that. They think about those people during the summer. Also, food has a profound access on people's health. And the Food Bank of Corpus Christi does Diabetes Hands-On, which is a complete program for diabetes management, and what you eat is at the center of it. And it is the most successful diabetes management program out there, basically. It achieves results that are just staggering compared to most diabetes management programs. So, whole range of programs that they do, and they need to be described, they need to be explained. Partnerships are important because if other stakeholders within the community success and believe in the work an organization does, in this case the food bank, it's very important as well. So the fact that the biggest donors to HEB are Walmart and, I'm sorry, the biggest donors to the food bank are HEB and Walmart by their recovered food program. And the video explained how they get their food that is nearly at its use-by date, but still good. They recover it, they inspect it, make sure it's good, and then distribute it very quickly to the clients as well. That's hugely important, A, for the work of Food Bank, but B, that they've got the confidence of both HEB and Walmart, which are important corporations both within the region and also within our community as well. The fact that they partner with more than 100 different agencies for these pantries, they work with them, they have the confidence of these organizations to provide these food as well. All these things are important because part of what this organizational background does is it proves capacity. It proves that your organization has the ability to do what it promises it's going to do. And I know I've emphasized this over and over and over again, but grant writing isn't about money. Money is an aspect of grant writing, but grant writing is about creating and implementing effective change within an organization, within a program, or within a community. And the money is a very, very important component of that, but you got to demonstrate that you've got the ability to do the work your grant promises that you're going to do. And I have seen many grants, including, unfortunately, a few that I've written, where the funding source will say, I think it's a great program, I think it's a great idea, but you just didn't convince me that the people involved could deliver, could do the grant they promised to do. And that's a really important part of your credibility. Now, the other thing that we're going to be working on, and 2 groups will be working on the organizational background, 2 groups will be working on this other part, which is the cover letter, but I want everybody to know how to do the whole thing, is the cover letter. Now, it's the grant writ small. I like to use a very specific format. There are other formats, but I like to be very straightforward and to the point. I like my first sentence to be, the organization I'm working for, the Food Bank, a 501c3 organization. Why? Because you got to show you're eligible to get that grant, and you got to be that classification to get this grant. The Food Bank of Corpus Christi, comma, a 501c3 organization, comma, requests $25,000 from the Flora Foundation to support its backpack program. Boom, period. And I know that goes against a lot of what we've learned in academic writing, but main point, what you want front, lead exactly with what you want. That's what you do in workplace writing. You front load. And the second sentence of that first paragraph might be, backpack programs provide food in the evenings and weekends for children who depend upon school lunch programs. The second paragraph might talk a little bit about the backpack program. Currently, the food bank does this, and has this impact. We want to do better. We want to expand. Third paragraph, talk about maybe a little bit about the organization a little bit more. In this case, the food bank, founded in 1982, the Food Bank of Corpus Christi provides blah, blah, blah. Sorry, 300,000 people in 11 counties, or whatever it is you decide to say. And then my last paragraph is generally what I call the We Are the World paragraph. It's, we're awesome, and the Flora Foundation is awesome, and gosh, if we work together, we can really make good things happen. And I don't actually mean that ironically. You have to identify the values of your organization, the values of the foundation that you're going after, and argue that they're a match, and then conclude. And a good cover letter can be the difference maker in a grant. I hate to say this, but as you know, probably from doing our reading, grants will have different audiences, and some will read every sentence of every page and every line in the budget, and some will just read their cover letter and make the decision from there. So it's an extremely important document. So this week we're going to be doing cover letters and organizational backgrounds. We're going to start to look over all the work that we've done a little bit. Group leaders will pull a little bit of supporting documentation. And we'll have a grant next week, and you will have written your first grant that will be submitted on behalf of a nonprofit organization. So again, mean that sincerely. Good work, and let's keep at it. Thank you.